Hey guys, Motorcycle Mouse here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about taking things for granted. Some things some people were saying today kind of made me think about it a lot, and I figured it'd be a good topic for today. I have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to talking about taking things for granted, because of the fact that I was in the military. And the reason I say that is because when you're in the military and, you know, any second could be your last, especially when you're deployed, you tend to take things a lot less for granted. Even when you just go through basic training, you get maybe you get a little bit of that feeling, but especially when you're deployed. And it takes a lot of thinking about it and, you know, kind of keeping your mind on it to not take things for granted. It's easy to say, but it's really hard to do. But whenever I was deployed, I realized what all I took for granted. And I see a lot of people around me not even realizing that they're doing it when they talk about their relationships and you know, what all's going on in their life. They talk about tomorrow's always going to, you know, they talk like tomorrow is always going to be there. And that's not always true. When I was deployed, one of the biggest things that I realized that I took for granted was true friends. And that's because true friends are really hard to come by. And I realized that really quick when I was deployed, because I felt like I was out of sight, out of mind a lot. Because there was a lot of friends that called themselves my friend, and that I even considered my friend, that whenever I got deployed, they didn't talk to me anymore. They didn't write me letters and, you know, try to give me encouragement. And at the time, MySpace and Facebook, you know, had just really started being big things. And so it's not like you even had to go to the post office and get a stamp and get an envelope and then go and mail it. You didn't have to do any of that. All you have to do is, you know, click on someone's picture and write, you know, hey, hope you're doing okay. You know, just give some encouragement. And that happened on rare occasions when I was deployed, and it sucked pretty bad. But looking back on it now, it taught me a big lesson as far as taking things for granted. And I don't take true friends for granted like I used to. Now, when I make a true friend now, I tend to, you know, appreciate them way more than I used to. And when I was deployed, I realized that, because the only people that really would keep in touch with me is, you know, one, maybe two friends, but the rest of them were family and my wife. And so that was a big eye-opener for me. And a lot of people, I felt lucky now, and I still feel lucky because of that, because now, looking back on it, I realized it was a blessing in a way. It was a curse and a blessing at the same time, because most people, I've said this a lot, but most people, they don't realize that they take things for granted until they're on their deathbed, or until they get some horrible news, like someone close to them died, or they got diagnosed with some horrible sickness or disease like cancer or something like that. And, you know, if they beat it, then the rest of their life they go through their life realizing what they took for granted. But as a soldier, getting deployed, that's kind of a blessing, that's a curse at the same time, because, you know, any second could be your last. You could get blown up, you know, just riding like this right here, and just bam, and there's your life, you're gone. Or you're, you know, quadriplegic, or your arms and legs get blown off, whatever it may be. And so, that being said, you know, that's why I say in a way it's a blessing. And because most people, that when they realize that it's too late. So, you know, don't take your friends for granted, especially, because one thing I've realized is most people in your life are just passing through. And if you don't believe me, look at your life. How many people have you met? And how many of them are still in your life that were there, say, just 5 years ago? And I'm betting that the answer is very few of those people that you thought were going to always be there 5 years ago are still there. You might have one or two. And even people that you consider really close friends a lot of time aren't there anymore. And that happens, but all you can do is learn what you can from them. Take away whatever lessons you need to take away. Hopefully they're good lessons and good memories. But don't take them for granted. Don't always think that that's always going to be there, because, you know, people move away, people move on. Unfortunately, people, you know, die. So you just never know what life's going to throw at you. So, yeah, that's today's soapbox. I just wanted to put that out there as a reminder. Just some things that I've heard today just kind of made me think of that. It's sad how some people go through their life taking everything for granted, especially the really close relationships, husbands and wives, taking each other for granted. And especially in a relationship, don't take the other person for granted, and don't just always assume that that person's going to forgive you either, because you never know who is out there trying to comfort your mistakes. And, you know, hopefully you have a loyal partner if you're in a relationship, and, you know, your husband or your wife or whatever is a loyal person and doesn't fall for that trap. But that's a trap that's constantly out there. If I mess up, you know, there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to try and take advantage of that situation. You know, fortunately I have a wife that you know, doesn't fall for that. But, you know, you got to be really careful. You got to know who your true friends are and who the friends that are just wearing a friend mask are. But, alright guys, well, thanks for watching. I'll be back as soon as I can with another video.